They thought she was just the mechanic's daughter, figured if they laughed loud enough, she'd blush, drop the wrench, and walk right out the door. But instead, she turned that engine over and kicked off a chain reaction no one in that garage saw coming. And if you'd told me I'd end up in the middle of it, I would have laughed too. It started on one of those brutal Tulsa afternoons when the heat slaps you the second you step out of the truck. I was 17, lunch sack pressed. To my hip, sneakers crunching across the gravel outside Bleeven's Auto and Diesel, a rundown garage that smelled like sweat and scorched oil. Inside, the ceiling fan was barely moving the thick air, and there was Ron Brady, gruff owner, camo cap, and a voice like gravel. He didn't say hello, just nodded toward the back. "Your old man in?" he asked. "Brought him lunch," said, trying to walk past, but his eyes flicked toward the Camaro in the corner. Hood up, engine torn apart like a crime scene. "That car beat us," he said, loud enough for Leo and Travis to freeze mid-sip of burnt coffee. "Why don't you show us what your daddy taught you?" It was a dare, the kind they expect you to fumble, but the room went quiet, curious. I tossed down my bag, tied back my hair, pulled on gloves. "Just don't cry when I fix it," I said. A few chuckles, mostly silence. I leaned over the engine, eyes tracing chaos, cracked hoses, dead wires, rust gnawing at everything shiny. I listened, not for a sound, but for that feeling my dad taught me to trust. The car always tells you what's wrong. You just have to listen like you don't already think you know. Travis muttered something under his breath, but I ignored. Him grabbed the multimeter. Battery dead, but not the issue. Starter, alternator, both fine. 5 minutes, 10. Then I spotted it. A wire tucked under the dash, out of place. "Someone rewire this recently?" I asked. Ron grunted. "Guy from Norman. $800 for nothing." I slid further in, arms scraped raw, sweat dripping off me like a faucet. And there it was. Ignition wire crossed with a voltage feed, disguised like a trap. I slid out, grease on my cheek. Someone did this on purpose. Ron tensed. "You accusing us?" "No," I said. "I'm saying someone wanted to waste your time, make you doubt yourself. Quit before you figured it out." Silence. Then I got back to it, my dad's voice guiding my hands. I worked slow, methodical, while 3 grown men watched like I was something new. "What now?" Ron asked, his tone softer, almost respectful. "I'm going to fix what someone broke on purpose," I said. Leo let out a whistle. The room shifted, no jokes, no eye rolls, just tools and breath. I traced the false ground, dug out the bypass hidden under insulation. "If I'd powered this on," I muttered, "you'd have fried the ECU." Ron rubbed his neck, eyes wide. "He always said you were better than him." I smiled. No swagger, just truth. He wasn't wrong. I replaced the fuse, checked the coil, felt the weight of their eyes. "How long till she runs?" Ron asked. 10 minutes and a jump. I slid into the seat, twisted the bypass, nodded for the cables. The engine sputtered, then roared back to life like something rising from the grave. Ron's face. Shock. The shop fell silent, reverent almost, but that wasn't the end. Ron asked about the sabotage again, not just bad work, I said. "Someone wanted you to sell this car cheap or walk away." "Why mess with an old Camaro?" Leo asked. "Because if you know what you're doing, you can flip a car like this out of state, swap the VIN, and it disappears." That hit them. Leo popped the glove box. Inside was a black GPS tracker, small, discreet, like something a repo guy might use. "Someone's been watching," I said. Ron went pale. "Maybe it was stolen," I guessed. He didn't answer. He just picked up the phone and called my dad. Eddie had a buddy in the State Bureau who ran the VIN, and the tension in the shop turned electric, like a live wire humming between all of us. While Ron made the call, I sat thinking about machines, how people treat them like they forget, but they don't. Leo tried to crack a joke, but the air had changed. When Ron came back, his voice was flat. "That Camaro might be tied to an old fraud case. Chop shop, could be more. Someone planted that GPS hoping it would ping once the engine came back to life," I said. Ron looked like he suddenly regretted every dumb joke. "Didn't mean to throw you in the fire, kid," he muttered. I stopped him. "You didn't have to think. Just had to treat me like I was worth listening to." That silence after? That was the real respect. We locked up the Camaro, but I noticed a white pickup parked across the street. Too neat, too still, dark-tinted windows, someone sitting inside, not pretending to do anything else. I texted my dad. "Car's hot. Something's off. Ron's shop," I told Ron. He looked and turned pale. "That's the Norman guy." Tension thickened. "Don't poke the bear," Ron said. "He's waiting to see if we move the car." We rolled it around back, and just like that, the truck pulled up. The guy steps out, boots, jeans, expression flat, and asks if I work there. "Today." "I do," I said. He asks about the Camaro. "Not for sale," I reply, standing my ground. Ron steps in and things get sharp fast. The guy all but threatens us. "If the car disappears, nobody asks questions. You keep your shop." Everyone stays quiet. Ron didn't blink. "You sabotage my shop again, next time it's the cops." The guy leaves, but not before telling me I shouldn't get mixed up in things that don't concern me. "Then don't bring your problems where I work," I told him. And yeah, that felt good. That night I sat on the back steps with a cold iced tea dad beside me. "You all right?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. But honestly, I was rattled. I didn't go there to prove anything. Just dropping off lunch. He smiled and squeezed my shoulder. "That's how life works," he said. "You show up for one thing and end up in the middle of something bigger." He was right. That car wasn't just metal. It was tied to something more. "You woke it up," he warned. The next morning, Ron called. His voice sharp. "Car's gone. Bay was locked. No broken locks, no tracks. Just gone. The guy was waiting for it to run," I said. "Maybe that's for the best," Ron replied. "He's not hiding anymore, and we've got everything documented. Let the authorities handle it." "But Janelle, you didn't just fix a car, you dragged a ghost into the light." "And maybe that's what we're here to do." I stood, Dad holding my bag. "Ready?" he asked. I nodded, feeling like I'd stepped into something bigger than a garage, bigger than a Camaro, bigger than lunch runs and cheap jokes. I was proof you don't need a shout to be heard, don't need permission to stand strong. That when you know what you're doing, really know, it doesn't matter who doubts you. The truth is like an engine. Once it runs, you can't ignore it. So if you've ever been underestimated, told to wait your turn, told you don't belong, let your work speak. Let your hands show them. And when they throw you a dare, don't just rise to it, own it. Like I did, because the world's watching. The only question is, what are you going to show them? So tell me, was I right to push back? Or should I have walked away? Where's the line between fixing a mess and inviting more trouble? Drop your thoughts. Because out here, it's never just about the car.